Welcome. We are here today to talk about and explore one woman's journey into motherhood as a healer and as a woman. We're here today with Julia Marschall. Welcome, Julia.
Hello, Britta. So good to see you.
Thank you
Thank you for
so
having.
Yeah, thank you for being here. I'm so thrilled to have you here to share your wisdom. Would you start with just sharing a little bit about yourself and what brings you into this conversation?
Yes, definitely. I'm Julia, 30 years old, and um, where to start? I'm from Germany. I live in Hamburg, and I started looking for truth when I was, I'd say, 22. It all started actually with stopping the birth control pill and noticing how my hormone system works and supporting my body, getting my period back, having symptoms with like acne, and getting into nutrition, and then noticing movement and nutrition is not everything. So I went into the emotional with the Emotional Release Institute, and I really supported forming community within this field, and we've made different trainings worldwide with people from all over the world. I spoke with, I think, 2,500 people within 2 years to introduce our training to see if it's a good fit. And also did the training myself, started to work as an emotional release therapist, did a spinal attunement training as well. So not only working with the body and the emotional field, but really also with the energetics of the body and the different energetic bodies that we carry from the spiritual soul level, emotional level, physical, mental. And yes, had a break when I got pregnant last year, actually New Year's Eve, and I became a mother pretty much a year ago. In 2 weeks, my little one will turn 1 year old. And it was the biggest initiation, not only for me as a person, but also for us, for my partner and myself as a couple. We got married just 4 days ago, but it's still landing, or actually it just starts to land that we are married, and to digest everything that happened within also that community, because this is family for me now. And I've really got to witness that on that day, how supported we are. But yeah, nevertheless, Britta and I, we met during the training, the emotional release training that I also did as a participant, which is almost 3 years ago now in Portugal. And also there was a big initiation, because I've met the soul of Nova, my baby girl, there for the very first time. And I think I ended the last sharing circle also with mentioning that, and how excited I am to become a mother. And yeah, half year later, my partner and I, we split up, and then we got back together very quickly because we noticed we need more commitment. And with the family, that commitment has come. Yeah.
Wow. So beautiful. I love your introduction and your reflection. And yes, Julie and I have met through various healing therapeutic trainings, both in Portugal, both the
Yeah.
emotional release and the spinal attunement trainings, learning side by side and growing as women. And I'm just so
Mm.
grateful for your presence and your wisdom. And yeah, I love too how you name the beginning of your journey into motherhood as really reclaiming your menstrual cycle and your period and embracing your bleed. And I feel like that's something that we sometimes miss, is that a lot of women just jump into pregnancy, whether by surprise or for other reasons, not having had that connection with your body. Can you speak a little bit more to the connection you developed with your body before becoming pregnant?
Yes, definitely. So by really diving into the psychosomatic world, I got to understand my body on a deeper level. And I think the key sentences are that I am already healed. There's nothing to fix. And even though things are not running perfect, still coming back over and over again to this state, to notice that everything that I need is also already here, and it's part of the human experience to have also the pain, have the frustration, have the anger, and everything that we try to avoid as well. And then psychosomatics helped me to also express it through the body. So free flow dancing was very important. Or somatic dancing was very important on my journey, and I got to process a lot of experiences from the past through dancing when I got activated in a day-to-day life, triggered by something, a relationship, a friend, work-wise, whatever it is, to drop into the body and to give myself the dignity and the space to really dive into what has come up. Yeah. And to not be afraid of of the unknown. I think that's also very important, which also carried me through the pregnancy a lot, that things are changing. I've never experienced like on that level of awareness and consciousness that such a deep change within my body and within also my needs, and like such an ego death of also sitting there with this huge belly and being like, where is Julia? I just feel being a mother, but where am I? And to not losing the faith, but staying there, staying with the baby, feeling the love, feeling the connection, and yeah, doing everything as best as I could, but also being gentle with myself if I couldn't. And yeah, coming back to my body over and over again, doesn't matter how hard and disconnected I also felt from my essence at times.
Yes, it's so powerful. And for women who don't know, will you explain what is psychosomatics? What exactly are
Mm.
you talking about when you mean that?
Yes, definitely. Let's see if I can get that together well. So, psychosomatics for me is creating a coherence between the mind and the heart, of stepping into connection with myself. So, I can step into connection also with the outside world, which happens in best case scenario through the heart. So, it's really a balanced connection as well, and a truthful connection to myself and others again. And the mind has still a crucial role, because I've experienced a lot, especially in those calls I had with people who wanted to join the trainings of, my mind is so loud and tells so many stories. I want to quiet the mind. Also from yoga classes, we know it in the Shavasana. It's like, and now shut up the mind. And I've always felt like, no, the mind has such a crucial role as well. But we need also the connection to the body. So we have this faith and this trust that we really feel it. So we get to know which stories are lies and which stories are wishes. And yeah, to really notice what it is it worth for stepping ahead, really being bold and moving into my path, that is really meant for me, and to trust into my vision, to share my vision also with my friends, family, and my partner, and noticing, oh yeah, there's the resonance, and that comes really with the coherence of the mind and the heart for me. And psychosomatics, you get tools with psychosomatics, how you create this coherence. So by moving the body after impulses, doesn't matter, like also embracing the ugly parts of you, being fine with really dropping into the hips, and also letting in the spiritual field, they often call it, I think, the sacred slut, to also just like embrace your sexuality, embrace your hips. And that's things that are oftentimes so like not liked to be seen in society. And there's a lot of shame, a lot of guilt around it, and still moving through it with all that comes up, and noticing there are different shades to everything. And there's not just the anger, there's also the sadness underlying, and then comes the joy, and it all waving into together. And that's for me where, yeah, what psychosomatics have revealed for me through this coherence. Yep.
I love that. I love how you name the heart as being the central channel of the psychosomatic practice, and not eliminating the mind. Because I feel sometimes we do feel that pressure with different healing modalities to just quiet the mind, but we're kind of, disavowing our own intelligence when we do
Mhm.
that. And there's so much available to us. It's really that connection of the mind, heart, and then embodying and stepping into that path, as you're saying. And I love that
Mhm.
definition. And honestly, I feel for so many women who I've worked with and as a perinatal therapist, is that pregnancy is sometimes women's first, well, not first, but maybe most loud and obvious experience of embodiment. It
Mhm.
thrusts you deeply into your body, sometimes on day one. And then that evolves throughout pregnancy. And what was that embodiment of pregnancy like for you?
Let me feel into that. I mean, at first I've been still very attached to, because our baby was a surprise, and we went through the whole process of, is it the right time? I've said it already for a very brief moment that Yuri and I, my partner and I, we also split up, I think 10 months before I got pregnant. And 5 months before that, we came back together. So everything felt very unstable, but still I had this feeling of, it's so meant that we become babies, and that we become a family, and that we go past our triggers, past our egos, to create this bigger vision that we carry also in our hearts for so long already. And becoming pregnant with this decision that needed to be made it took time for me to really land within this pregnancy because of that. I had exciting projects going on with traveling. And so end of January, I started to travel again to Mexico. But very quickly, I noticed that's way too much for my body. And also when I got pregnant, my partner and I, we were speaking about moving into the south of Europe very quickly. And then suddenly I noticed, oh, my body is way too slow for all of that. I really need to change the pace immediately. I also had some nausea. So, which I also noticed was really a clearing of all the energies, all this like rushing fell just off through it. And so I just had this urge to come back to my home, into my man's arm also, and to just sit there. So before that, I was very, very fast paced, very bubbly. And with the pregnancy, I just felt like this very feminine rock just sitting there and everything comes to me rather than chasing what I wanted to experience. So yeah, the slowness was really hitting hard also at times. And to be honest, it wasn't easy for me also because I had also some physical symptoms, always like vaginal infections. So I had always this like unrestless deep down in my hip area, and like everything was pressing me down and down and down, and I tried to still keep up things, and that wasn't too easy. So what I can recommend to really let yourself fall into it as good as you can, but it's so new for all of us, so for the first time. So also having compassion, and we will have this urge to build the nest. So and we gotta learn how also the union between the masculine, the feminine, the father and the mother clicks into each other. So these are things that had to happen during pregnancy and that didn't happen for us beforehand. So it was a lot we went through in this time, and we did it beautifully also. And yeah, the body's intuition really gave me in that time a reminder of how things can just flow without needing to do something. And still I was doing way too much probably.
Oh, I love this. And I love this very feminine rock. Just
Mhm.
um and just the wisdom of a rock. I mean, think of how ancient the rocks are and what they contain in their stillness, and a complete shift in, yeah, allowing life to come to you. And I think it really is
Mhm.
in pregnancy a huge initiation to slow down, to rest more, because of course, as women of our ages, we've been socialized to build these big careers and to do these things and live a lot in our masculine, which isn't, it's not wrong, but it can be very uncomfortable, I think, to really settle into that
Mhm.
rest, especially when, when you're pregnant, rest isn't always comfortable either.
Mhm.
You're not
No.
necessarily sleeping, or, you can't roll over and get comfortable. I mean, I always had so much pelvic pain, whether I was standing, laying down, sitting down, it didn't matter, you know?
Mhm.
And just these things that arise that need your tending and your presence. Um, it is a profound embodiment and uncomfortable. And I think in the work that we're trained in together, discomfort is something that we're really trained to lean into and embrace.
Mhm.
But for women who have never done that, I think there tends to be a lot of resistance, and that creates a lot of additional emotional overwhelm, anxiety, depression, that kind of a thing. Did you have any mental health issues during your pregnancy?
Mm, I wouldn't. No, I don't think I had mental health issues. It was more during pregnancy, during birth, where I really noticed, oh wow, my mental stability isn't as strong as I wished for it. But I couldn't also imagine beforehand what it would feel like to give birth and to really lean into these resistances. And also I've made some decisions beforehand, so I couldn't really know beforehand what would come up also, because I've planned to give birth in a birthing center where just midwives are and no medical support. And I thought I would just arrive there once my contractions start, but this place was just for the actual birth, like the labor process, the final pushes, let's say, where you really go into active labor, if that's a word. And so it was a lot of driving around during the contractions from our home to the place and back. And so in this back and forth made it really difficult for me to settle in. So after 50 hours, I've made the decision to go to hospital, to go get an epidural and to sleep. And my cervix opened immediately. And after I woke up, it took 1.5 hours and the baby was in my arms. And yeah, I wished it would have been different on that level of my mental health, of really trusting and also speaking my truth of I want to stay here, I really want to settle in one place, or also making decision, okay, I'm just going to stay at home then for now, because I know also I would trust my body on that level to just let it happen, but I didn't arrived in my cave fully. And yeah, that was intense.
Yeah, how do you feel that the way your birth unfolded, like what wisdom did that contain for you?
So at first I felt after birth very also like it was a failure because I didn't got the unmedicated birth that I wished for myself. But also what I really learned was speaking my truth in the hospital, because within that setting it was much more easier to be really like, okay, don't touch me there. And the procedure, like everything gets suddenly so much faster in the hospital, especially because I had this difference of the birthing place that was very trauma informed, very slow, but still not the place for me. So I had to go at that point in that state. And I was so clear. My voice was so sharp. And also my partner and I, we were such a team because we were both afraid to go into the hospital. And once we made the decision to go, we were so present also with each other. And he was also so present with me, and just looks were enough to know that's a no, that's a yes, we're going to go that route. We're going to do the epidural. Okay, also how it is in the hospital, they start with a list. So we could go this way, and you could get this drugs and that drugs. And we were like, oh my God, where are we? And still I needed that 4 hours of sleep so I could relax. And so, yeah. And during active labor, I started to scream at the midwives because I had my eyes closed and they just touched my vulva without permission and asking. I was just like, don't touch me don't talk to me during contractions, don't touch me when I have my eyes closed. If you need to touch me, tell me. And I was like so straightforward, and I got to meet my power in that moment. And I have goosebumps.
Wow, me too. No, I have chills because I think, unfortunately, in the birthing world, there's so much dogma and ideology around what's the best way to give birth, and it's harmful to women. And what you're describing, I think, is so powerful that there is medicine in how birth unfolds.
Mm-hmm. Always.
Even in some type of a violation or someone crossing your boundaries, right? Then you get that experience as a mother to like own with your full chest and throat your voice. And that is just so powerful to
Yep.
witness.
Yep.
That there are just so many ways to give birth. And in my experience, birth is just always unexpected. It's just always quite unexpected. There's always things that come up, maybe subtle things and maybe very obvious things. And how has this opening of your voice and your boundaries brought you into motherhood and the early postpartum and up till now? How do you experience this part of you?
Well, that's a good question. It's that I'm not afraid anymore to walk my path and to lose loved ones, because I'm sticking to the vision of creating family in peace with nature and within community, however that looks like. We're still living in a small apartment in a big city, but I know it will unfold. And this deep knowing is unshakable. And I think the strength and the mental strength, especially, I have gained through the birth of little Nova and through speaking my truth in these moments, even though I felt so uncomfortable and so unsafe and so vulnerable, ripped open, what birth also is in a way, being ripped open. And yeah.
Oh, I love that. I know it's really birth is like the most open a woman can be.
Yeah.
And it's so vulnerable to interferences and things like that. And yet, I think sometimes we shield against our vulnerability. And yet, what you're describing is the vulnerability is your power. being in that depth of your own vulnerable experience, both in the body, giving birth, protecting your daughter, protecting yourself, it activates a deeper power that's needed in motherhood. And of course, that's how we become initiated. It's part of the process, you know. How have you integrated motherhood? Like, how did your postpartum feel, especially in the early months and weeks? How was that for you?
Yeah, I was very new. So the first week was also very emotional, of course, because of the drop of the hormones, but also there came like topics into my field of my parents overstepping also our boundaries as a family. As we said, we don't want to have any visitors for the first week, and we told them beforehand, but they couldn't understand. And then once Nova was here, they were very mad and defensive, and I felt ripped open, just laid there, and was like, it really felt like something that was covered just fell off. And it revealed how my connection to my parents actually is. Once I'm not this like broken daughter, broken little kid that needs to be cared of anymore, but I'm now the powerful mother who sees her family and trusts into the protection of her man. Yeah. And then nutrition and feeling nurtured was also a topic of, I was so hungry, of course, because I was breastfeeding. I was so hungry, and my partner was also so connected to us, to me and the little one, which was amazing. But also he had difficulties to get up, get out, get to the grocery store, prepare food, because he also just wanted to be in the love bubble, and also having compassion to that for that, but also having my needs. So navigating that wasn't too easy. So I highly recommend, of course, meal prep. Didn't got to do it that well. We just had a bit prep, which was already good. But yeah. And also having this deep pain of there is no village around right now, and still having friends and neighbors that come by and support, but it's different than really feeling into how it would be in the village where you really support each other, how we also experienced it during the wedding, how it was really a co-creation. Yeah, Nova was just everywhere on everyone's arms, and she loved it. And yeah, that was really missing during the first months. Also during pregnancy, being home alone felt so unnatural. Something in me was like, that's just not right. That's just not right. That's also why I hold on to how we want to create life and how we want to live as a family. Because I felt this deep pain. And yeah, what else during postpartum? Yeah, we also got to renovate our apartment a lot, which was great because I had this feeling of I want to like bring the whole energy into the home. And my partner also was just there the whole time, and that was great. I can't imagine how it would have been without him being at home all the time. That would have been really hard for me, I think. And I have a lot of respect for women who stay home alone from the first week on with the baby, being a newborn mom also. Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
love this. The newborn mom. It's so true. And also what you're naming about it seems like this grief that comes up sometimes, not for everyone, but the grief of not maybe just the things you think you'll grieve, but the grief of not having the village or community that you hoped for and things not looking like you maybe thought. I think these are just these nuanced things that come up during the postpartum that are very challenging to address because you're also just so focused on the baby and your own healing and like you're saying just eating, just eating, just sleeping, just getting enough to drink and breastfeeding your baby. It's just so much. And how now do you feel that being a mother impacts you? How are you walking through life in your motherhood now, and what do you envision that becoming for you?
Mm-hmm. It feels so new because actually it feels like just now with the wedding and this big celebration that we had within community, the initiation was kind of closed and now it's really integrating. It feels like before, like the past year, I've been really the mother and being focused on my baby. And now I notice, okay, Julia wants to come in again. Julia wants to work again. Julia wants to be also a sexy wife again, not just a mother, and feeling also good in my body and with my partner also on the physical level. And that's slowly coming. So, and it's exciting and it's very new. But I also, through the past months and all the challenges that I faced, feel very centered. And also with all the love I've experienced the past week, I feel very reassured that it's all right and all there. But right now, I can't fully tell you how I feel. Besides that, I'm very, very excited for that what will come. And also, this interview is very meaningful for me in that process to share my story and how I've landed where I am, and also how quick in the end everything went. It's just a year. It's not even 2 years that I went pregnant, that I got pregnant. It's huge, and you can't imagine how it will feel once you're out of the tunnel. And as I said, it feels like I just stepped out of it and the sun is shining. I'm just like seeing this beautiful nature, and I'm like, okay, I don't know which direction even I'm going now, but it feels good to be back in my body and being a mom and having my little baby being a toddler soon by my side.
Yeah, I feel that first year, that first solo return of having your baby is so powerful because the body really remembers, like, okay, well, the air temperature felt like this and the sunlight looked like this, and this is how I was feeling. And I think I always notice a lot of excitement and energy in various ways leading up to remembering that time of giving birth and meeting your baby for the first time. And it's a special moment. And I'm
Hmm.
just so glad that at this moment you've just been poured with love and filled by community. It's just so beautiful. And I'm so, so
Yeah.
excited. And I feel hopeful that you'll continue to share your energy and wisdom as a mother and as a healing woman. What types of things do you envision with your healing work, in the years to come? There's no rush, but how do you see that?
Mm. Yeah, many things are coming in already. So I love still working with bodies and with other human beings, guiding them through the difficulties, through the resistances. So that's definitely something I will continue doing. But there are different nuances to it. There is also this clarity. My intuition is even more on point than it was before, and there are just more facets. So I'm able to hold more different people within their process than I was, like on a deeper level than I was before, because there's just this different kind of trust within myself and my decisions and my way of being in the end. But also, I want to create definitely group containers for women and also for mothers, guiding them back to themselves once they've been out of the crucial postpartum period, to come back into the body, to create spaces for themselves, because we can't expect everything from our partners. We need the community around us. It's too much to handle for just one single person, also for one man. I mean, there are also women partners and becoming babies, but just looking from the um, traditional side as I've experienced it myself. So yeah, group containers, and also, yeah, kind of coming back to the wild woman out of the mother archetype. So merging these archetypes together, being wild again, feeling home in the body again, feeling sexy in your body again. So that's definitely something I want to, yeah, bring into the public spaces as well, for mothers to love themselves again on on the essence level, not just on the nurturing level, let's say.
Yes, I love this. It's so beautiful. And for those who are listening, the Birthing Soul app is really touching on so many of these pieces that Julia is naming, which is just guiding women back to their intuition, but not letting go of our intelligence either. We call this process intuitive intelligence, really merging both and giving so many guided exercises and ways to stay deeply connected and really harvest this wisdom that I feel is available to all women. And when we can do that as women in community, it's unstoppable the amount of power and transformation and healing we can bring into our personal homes and communities and raise up our wild babies and
Yes.
see what they have to teach us, which is a lot.
Yeah, so much. Yep. And yeah, definitely. I love that saying of yeah, the wild babies, because that's also why my heart is still has this calling for Portugal here in Germany, in the city. All the kids there, it feels so numbed. Everything feels so numbed, and I want my baby to be wild and barefoot and not to be weirdly looked at in the bus and be like, why there are no socks? It's so cold. At least the mother is warm. It's ridiculous what I've experienced on that level. And no, I just want her to feel free and wild, and yeah, have that she has everything that I've been longing for as a little kid. And I felt like after days in community, going back into a big empty house, just like that didn't felt right to me. And yeah, recreating that for her.
Yeah, it's so beautiful and so grateful for you sharing your wisdom and your story and really just at this point sending a prayer and light into the path that's ahead for you as a mother. And thank you for being here, for sharing, and we'll talk
Thank you,
soon.
lots. Thank you for having me.